I'm going to try to walk us through a couple simple concepts that require really complex math. So wish me luck here. I came here and tried to walk through a concept of how fragile we are because of our borrowing, the amount of insatiable borrowing we go through. Here, made it a couple weeks without looking like a clown show. We got some decent inflation data. When we don't look serious that we're going to be the country that defends the reserve currency of the world, when we don't look like adults, we pay a price. And for many of the folks here, you get your 5 minutes of theater, and then we add hundreds of billions of dollars of additional interest. They spending, particularly what the Democrats did with the Inflation Reduction Act. It's Inflation Reduction Act, the most Orwellian named piece of legislation in modern history, where we're basically saying over the 10 years we're going to be pumping out a couple $1 trillion of subsidies to corporate America. Also the fact that because of our debt and these higher interest rates, we're also pumping out $1.2 trillion of interest payments out. So that much cash flow is going out into the marketplace. At the same time, the Federal Reserve is over here trying to pull liquidity out of the market to slow down inflation. It's also a tax, because who's the biggest debtor in the world? It's the United States. Congratulations, we did it, yay! We're basically kicking off about $1 trillion every 100, 115 days of borrowing. And that interest helping kick off inflation. And inflation is that tax. The inflation we've had the last 3 years is the biggest tax in modern history. I wish we had thought about the math. I wish we had been more honest with ourselves. But there's ways to deal with this. And I'm trying to build a theme. The theme basically is this. This place needs to get serious and acting like adults and understanding. It's not our feelings anymore. It's not our theater. We've made ourselves very fragile to the world, to the bond market. And I used to come behind this microphone and joke that this country basically is an insurance company with an army. Now it's a really in-debt insurance company with an army. So let's walk through some of our realities. Yay! Okay, first thing I need to walk through, deficit over the last 12 months, 1.8. If you actually do gross, it's closer to 3 in the last 12 months. That was, originally we built this board, we thought it would be, that's what we're going to borrow publicly. Our burn rate is actually substantially higher than we expected. And what's enraging about this, you start to realize we don't run this government anymore. The mandatory programs in the bond market does. So the other thing, it also should just really annoy anyone who actually pays attention to the actual math instead of the theatrics. National debt increase in the first 7 months of this fiscal year. We were, in 2023, at this point we had borrowed about $500 billion. Yay, good job. Now we're at $1.45 trillion the same time period this year. You gotta work through the problem with me. Was 2023 economically that different than this year? What happened? What happened? Well, our interest rates went up, so we're burning through tremendous amounts more cash. We actually had, in the last 12 months, I think we had 2 or 3 months where we had to borrow money to pay for our borrowing. And forgive me, I've had a stunning amount of coffee today, and I haven't slept well, and I'm just cranky. Look, this chart is actually worse now. It's just the only one I have. And some of these numbers I have trouble believing, and that we go back and double check ourselves, and we go back and double check ourselves because the numbers read differently than the CBO report from 4 months ago or 5 months ago or the OMB report from 6 months ago. Because the economy is supposed to be fairly decent. How can we be bleeding like this? The other thing is also the fragility concept. And this is something I've talked to dozens and dozens of members here, and I get that blank stare because we don't often think this way. We're on different types of committees. I do Ways and Means and financial services and those. So maybe my whole world is trying to think about the math. Today, the world has the highest level of debt since the Napoleonic Wars. You may not remember your history, but after that, the world went into a massive depression for years. If you're under 40, I'm a baby boomer. I'm sorry. We are so vacuous intellectually around here. The ability to say, we are going to embrace the things that disrupt our cost drivers. We are going to actually adopt technology. We're going to adopt AI to change the cost of government. We're going to adopt the things that crush the price of healthcare, not by making it more scarce, not by rationing it, but by making it more moral. We can do that, except this place will run like hell every time you say, you know, we could actually have technology that would cure that disease. Oh no. That's our business model. The next generation will be more prosperous, and right now that's mathematically impossible. There's a way I can make it work, the way you can make it work, the way this place could make it work, and we're so busy knifing each other over petty crap because we're idiots. We're children here because doing hard things is hard. My father used to have a saying, if it's a complex problem, there's a simple solution. That's absolutely wrong. Complexity requires complexity. And the reason for this portion of this tirade is next year, about $380 billion a year in tax hikes. You, as an individual, your LLC, your subchapter S, your pass-through business, congratulations, your taxes are already going up next year. Why are we destroying ourselves? Why are we destroying your retirement? Why are we destroying your kids, my young kids? But yet the hallways, once again, are full of people wanting more money. So now let's actually talk through a couple things that are even more uncomfortable than talking about the debt. Number 14, and we're the reserve currency. Anyone care? Because the hallways here are just full of people showing up at my door begging for more spending or begging us to set up rules to make sure that competition and new technology can't disrupt their business models. We could actually have technology that would cure that disease. Oh no, that's our business model.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Well, remember when the last administration decided to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake.
The Balanced Breakfast program just created a generation of ultra-strong super criminals.
And midnight basketball taught them to function without sleep.
What about my pledge to build the world's largest bookmobile? Isn't there any money left for that?
No, and we borrowed from every country in the world.
The reality is invented for you by people who choreograph it. There's got to be an office in Washington someplace where a bunch of people that you never heard of choreograph reality. It's not just what the next photo op is going to be. It's what is the interpretation of a given international event. And this has to be generally dispensed through the media with no questions asked.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 It all started when I was approached to be spokesman for a multinational corporation called EES.
Oh, the Everything Except Shoes people.
Right. I was at their headquarters to meet the chairman and the board of directors. They wanted to send me to South America to promote a controversial fertilizer called Zygrot 24.
You are the only one who can stand up to these radicals who are trying to keep Zygrot 24 from the struggling farmers whose very future depends on it.
Wasn't that stuff banned?
Only in the U.S. and Europe.
I heard that shit's lethal.
All right.
Damn! When I first arrived here, I was nothing like I am now. I was confused, a walking contradiction, so full of questions.
You know, you'd be better off without a dick. Hey, you can keep the beard.
Hallelujah. But now I know who I am. I can say to the world, hey, this is me. I am woman, and I like me.
A freak so hideous, it'll be enough to make your stomach turn inside out. It'll boil your brain in its own juices, and it'll make a cold sore that you thought had healed up start bugging you again. It's the dawning of a new age, a new beginning. Behold, Super Mega Freak World!
We here at EES have plans for your gene machine that include everything. Well, everything except shoes, of course.
I'd love to see your plans.
Well, I'd love to show them to you. Bill, would you do the honors?
What does today's businessman want? Well, how about a receptionist with 6 arms, 3 mouths, and a knockout figure? That would sure speed things up, wouldn't it?
Or down at the factory. How do we fight the rising problem of sagging productivity from lazy workers?
How about a worker with 12 busy hands, no mouth to talk back, no genitalia or gastrointestinal system to distract him from his work? Sure, it's what we all dream about, isn't it?
Well, with this Scugs-based Zygrot technology, these things are not only possible, they are only the beginning. We're poised on the edge of a new frontier limited only by our imaginations.
Of course, what happened to our expensive spokesman, Ricky Coogan, was an unfortunate coincidence. On the other hand, profits from these new markets could total in the billions.
Ricky who?
Hey!
Now hold on. Secretaries, worker drones. Where's the fun? Huh? Where's the spark? Where's the unspeakable evil?
I was just getting to that. We are going to impact every field. Cosmetics, military, novelty house pets. And why should we stop with consumer products? Hell, we can design a whole new consumer. A few well-placed drops in the water supply and bingo! It's a whole new master race. And we own the copyright.
This guy's good.
We lured him away from Pepsi.
Right here, right now, we are building a better tomorrow for those who uphold the vision of EES.
Bill, if I could just add one thing. Those who dare oppose us will stand knee-deep in the blood of their children.
I felt like I was on a spaceship, and I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah, great.
Well, we were real happy with what was going on. I'm not sure what to do with my hands. I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
If your coloring is in the autumn range like Maria, I would suggest you try the earth tone eye makeup. Now, as you can see, I've done a lovely French braid on Maria, but I encourage everyone to experiment and use your imagination. The main thing is, just have fun with it.